One of my interests in the world at the moment is the American presidential elections, which are due to be held on the 5th of November. I think we have Barack and Kamala as Black presidents of America. So we've had President Barack Hussein Obama as a Black president of America, and now we're likely to have perhaps President Kamala Harris as a president of America and a Black president of America. So I think that we have some kind of Black America now, where we have a lot of the Black civil rights movement in America that holds priority in America, and we have a strong Africa as well, and we have a weak Europe. I think the poor economies of the world are developing themselves more because of this Black civil rights movement in America and Black America, and perhaps this Black civil rights movement of America in the world. So I think we do have Black America in the world, and I think because of this we have some kind of an interest in building poor countries and poor economies into perhaps more stable, prosperous and developed countries, and maybe developed economies. And this is unfortunately at the expense of advanced, developed countries and economies who are losing out, such as Europe, perhaps Russia as well, and we have maybe Canada and Australia as well. So we have pretty much the northern hemisphere of advanced, developed countries and economies losing out to the southern hemisphere of maybe developing countries and economies. So I think that's an important influence of Black America in the world, because we're having a lot of Black presidents now in America in a short space of time. I don't know where this political influence comes from or where this interest comes from, but I think it's something to do with the Black civil rights movement of America. It seems to be very vocal and it seems to be very powerful for some reason. So I think we have that kind of factor in the world. So I think that's very important, but it would be interesting to see how these American elections result. I think that Vice President Kamala Harris she's been Vice President for a long time, over 5 years, I think. So I think that Vice President Kamala Harris is very high in the opinion polls. I think she's drawing a 10% lead or something. So she has a good, strong margin of success. And I think there's just a few weeks away now, so I don't think the opposition, I don't think the Republicans can do much in that short period of time to gain a strong position for success. So I think Vice President Kamala Harris is very popular and successful, and is likely to become president. So that's my interest. I think the only concerns with these elections is the Trump assassinations. I think there were 2 assassination attempts, and that kind of creates some kind of contention with those American, with this American election. I think assassinations usually occur with presidents whilst they're in the White House. But I think we have an unusual situation with the American Constitution in that we have a presidential candidate who's the focus of an assassination attempt. And this is very unusual because he's not a president, he's just a presidential candidate, and he's a focus of an assassination attempt. So that's interfering with the election process. Somebody who's assassinating President Trump is interfering with the election process, and this throws the election process aside because this is an attempt on life. So it kind of throws the election aside. So I think that's an important consideration of the election. I think one of the reasons why Kamala Harris is popular is perhaps because President Donald Trump is undergoing his own domestic issues, his court hearings and his various other issues, his impeachments and court procedures, his family issues, and his controversial political policies around the world, such as moving the Israel capital from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, the North and South Korean negotiations, where he persuaded Kim Jong-un to travel to South Korea and shake the hand of the leader of the South Korea, and this created some contention. He also had the Capitol riots issue, which is illegal because it's a riot with a presidential building. I think it's a presidential building. So there was a riot there. He kind of vocalized a riot with the presidential building. So that's interfering with the power of government. So he did some controversial issue around that, and he's done various other issues as well. But I think with this assassination attempt, I think the recent one was with a Ukrainian national. He's a European, and I think that's what's very serious about this assassination. All assassination attempts are serious, but I think this one could be unusual and serious because it seems to involve Europe and Ukraine with this assassination attempt, and he seems to be a Ukrainian national in Europe who has an issue with the Ukraine war in Europe. So I think that's why he's attempted to assassinate a presidential candidate, President Donald Trump. I think the Ukraine national had some issue with the Ukraine war. I don't know exactly what that issue was, but I think he was a Ukraine national who had a strong issue with the Ukraine war in Europe. And I think because of this reason, he tried to assassinate President Donald Trump. And then it's very shocking to see those images in the public because they're very bloody images. There's a lot of blood there. They seem to come from the ears, and they seem to be on collars and on the clothing as well. So it's very shocking to see those images. I don't think we should see those type of bloody images in public, especially during a presidential election campaign. So I think that this is quite serious because it kind of it shocks and scares the public, and I think that's not very healthy for the public. So I think that's one consideration for the election campaign. But I think that with the previous assassination attempt that was held in public as well, and I think that's quite serious as well. Thank you very much.